While traveling throughout the galaxy, the prison barge Purge begins to experience engine trouble. They soon come across a lone Imperial Star Destroyer. A team of Imperials are sent to board the Star Destroyer and retrieve spare parts to repair the Purge's engine. Unfortunately, they instead bring back a deadly virus. A virus that is so dangerous that it can bring back all who it infects and kills back from the dead. The surviving members of the Purge, which include two brothers, an Imperial corrections officer, a medical officer, and two familiar heroes, Han Solo and Chewbacca, are now in way over their heads with an army of the undead. Will they all survive? Do you dare read and find out?
Hey everyone, Adam here and welcome back to Bryant's Nerd Pub. And thank you all so very much for joining me today on my very first Halloween special. And today we're going to be reviewing Star Wars Death Troopers by Joe Schreiber. Now Star Wars Death Troopers was published in October of 2009 and it was famous for introducing zombies to the Star Wars universe. So this review is actually going to be kind of unique, because this is me actually revisiting Death Troopers. I've already listened to the audiobook a few years back, so I decided that for this video, it's going to be both a review of the book itself as well as the audio performance. Now there's not going to be too much in terms of spoilers. I've already given you guys a mild one, and that's that Han Solo and Chewbacca are in this story. But as to where the zombies came from, or who lives or who dies, well that part I will leave for you guys to find out. And without further ado, let's do this. So I would like to start out by saying that a few months ago during a live stream, I said that out of all the Star Wars Expanded Universe novels that I personally have read, I thought that this one could easily be skipped. But after doing a second read, or in this case listen through of the book, I would like to officially retract that statement. If you are currently reading the Expanded Universe, I highly recommend that you pick up a copy of Death Troopers. It's a great novel, and I think that it would be a perfect Halloween read. I thought it was well written, but of course it wasn't perfect. Personally, my only two main issues with the story itself was I felt it started off a little slow, but once it starts to pick up, it has no trouble keeping you invested. Another thing is, and again, mild spoiler, but I'm not sure what to think of Han Solo and Chewbacca being in this book. Don't get me wrong, I was happy they were there, but I just had the feeling that they were included to help readers stay invested. But I'm sure it would have been the same if it were Darth Vader or anybody else familiar. But I just thought that they weren't really necessary to the story, especially since we know that they're going to make it out okay, since the story takes place sometime before the events of Episode 4. Now let's talk about the quality of the audio performance. To be honest, I know that some people aren't a fan of the Star Wars audiobooks having music and sound effects, but I honestly don't have a problem with it provided that it doesn't overwhelm the narration, and I felt that Death Troopers was very good about that. I felt like it used an appropriate amount of music and sound effects, and of course I always enjoy hearing John Williams' score in the audiobooks, and I appreciated the selection of certain pieces for certain moments of the story. The audiobook also features the occasional spooky sound or scream or shriek, and I thought those were fine, and I felt like provided in the right setting, they could be more scary than they sounded. I will say though that the one thing I wasn't a fan of was when the narrator read the title of each chapter, you could hear someone repeating that line in a spooky-like voice. But honestly, I thought that part was silly and unnecessary. And speaking of the narrator, the book was read by Sean Kennan. I thought he did a rather decent job. He was a little straightforward, but I honestly appreciated that. And I thought his portrayal of Han Solo was pretty good. Although he didn't sound like Harrison Ford, I felt like he captured the manner in which Han Solo would deliver these lines pretty well. For Joe Schreiber's Death Troopers, I give an A. For the audio performance, I give a B. Thank you all so very much for joining me today for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more upcoming content. And speaking of upcoming content, don't forget that we have 3 more upcoming Halloween specials here at Bryant's Nerd Pub, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. As always guys, thank you all so very much, and have a great day.